But it's time to jump into our next segment. It's our weekly segment with the great guys over at Emblem Vault. They are also the makers of Agent Hustle and also the makers of MigrateFun. If you do not know what MigrateFun is, you're definitely living under a rock, because they are starting their migrations. They started it yesterday, and it's one of the biggest things, in my opinion, that's happened to crypto in a long time. It's no longer stuck in a pool. So there's some pools out there with millions of dollars, and these pools do not move. Using something like MigrateFun will allow you to extract some of that Solana and move it over to another pool, and that'll allow you to control your pool. That's exactly what the guys from Hustle did. They were the TNSR token in the pump swap, and they decided to move it from pump over to their own pool, and now they get all the fees, and they set their fee rate and everything. They're not getting a little bit of crumbs. Now they're getting the whole loaf of bread when you're swapping over there. So it's something absolutely amazing, and they're doing this for tons of other teams. It's truly remarkable, right?
Yeah, I mean, look, like I mentioned yesterday when we did that tutorial, this was something that was created from a pain point that they had, and like Emblem does, they realize that, hey, look, our pain point is many other people's pain points, and they're able to create this product. And that's what you need. You need pain points for products to work, because they need to be needed, right? And so this is what they did, and they rolled it out, and we're getting through the first cohort. So I'm excited and I'm happy for the team, and I can't wait to hear how it's been going so far.
Yeah, man. So we learned that they passed the audit last week, and they're already set and running. So I can't wait to dive deep. So without further ado, let's bring on the man of the hour in, Jake. Welcome back to OnChain Revolution. Thanks so much for being here, sir.
What's good, guys? Dude, awesome tutorial video that you guys put out yesterday for MigrateFun. So thanks for doing that.
Yeah. Appreciate it. It was actually so seamless and easy. You guys made it very, very easy. And we did it before, right? For the original one that you created. So we kind of knew how it was going to go. But like, how is everything going? Obviously, really busy day for you guys yesterday. Has it been smooth? Have you guys run into some hiccups? Like, what has the process been like?
So we're about 24 hours in. I believe in 30 minutes will be 24 hours since everything went live. I just checked in out of the 14 projects, 11 of them have over 15% of the supply migrated. So really, really awesome turnout. Zero Labs, who was formerly Monopoly Money, actually beat our record with Hustle. In the first 24 hours, we had 51% and they have 52%. So they just squeaked us by, which is really important to the integrity of the project, because that means that it was not just a fluke of us migrating, that this is actually has demand and traction, and that different communities outside of the creator of the platform itself are participating in high levels. And I just showcase Zero Labs because they're a good example, but there's, I think, 8 teams that have over 20% of the total supply migrated. And for general math numbers, it's if you get 25% of the token supply migrated, you'll recover about 50% of the liquidity in the pool. If you get 50% of the token supply migrated, you'll get at least 75%. Obviously, the numbers differentiate depending on the ratio of the market cap to the liquidity, but things are looking pretty good. So if I had to estimate, somewhere between 2.5 to 3 million in liquidity has been migrated so far. And we're off to a really hot start. There's definitely some areas that we have to fix or improve. One of them is that the phantom malicious warning is popping up, even though we had verified it the first time. So I don't know what happened, but that became unverified. So I had to send an email out to them. There's been a few issues with people going through mobile. Knowing that if you are migrating through mobile, you have to do it through the Phantom app and not through your Safari or Brave or Google Chrome browser within the mobile app itself. And then just some general questions around what are MFTs. We didn't really kind of forecast what it was because we wanted it to be new when revealed. Obviously, with competitors now advocating that they're going to create better migration tools that are more fair to everyone else, right? We have to kind of keep some things to our chest until we're able to release it. And with V2, we introduced a handful of new features that we believe is just going to completely put MigrateFun above everything else moving forward, because we're setting the standard of what a migration is. And overall, really proud of the team. It's been a very intense 3 months to get to this. By far the most comprehensive launch I've ever done at Emblem, and I know for the team as well. There's thousands of development hours, research hours, business development, strategy, etc., to get to where we are today. And now that it's live, there was no major bug. The site stayed intact the whole entire time. Majority of the teams are participating. Very few kind of errors on the back end. And from an educational standpoint, the majority of people who had never used MigrateFun had no issue actually migrating their tokens, which was actually like the biggest thing that we wanted. When you're building on Solana, there's a really heavy focus on UX and design. And so we really kept that in mind as we were designing this. And overall, so far, so good. Next week on Thursday, I think we have about 7 or 8 projects that will be completing and concluding their migration. So we still have the back half of the migration experience to undergo. But overall, very smooth. Got a bunch of people reaching out to us about their migrations. There's already a few teams who want to announce the second migration group already that are really excited. And yeah, just really proud of everyone and the community for believing in us and sticking to their guns that we will be the migration platform of choice. Over the last 3 months, I know it's been hard for people to wait around while the audit was undergoing, while FUD campaigns were circulating, while competitors were announcing that they were going to build migration tool. Turns out all of it was just smoke and mirrors for the majority of it. Now migrations are broadly accepted by even the people who were naysayers in the beginning. And we have a platform that's migrating over 6 million in liquidity in this first group. So really, really fast start, really flawless execution, and proud of everyone who's participated.
Yeah, man, 100%. And you know, you like you mentioned, you guys got the audit. This isn't some fly-by project that just went out there and just going willy-nilly, right? You guys actually spent the time, spent the money. And could you talk about the audit a little bit and kind of get into that process?
Yeah, very expensive, almost 6 figures to pay for this audit. So maybe in my next life, I should go into the insurance or auditing business, because man, for the cost of these things and for the deflection of liability, I think might be in that position. But props to I joke, the Halborn team is awesome. This is our second audit we've done with them before. They did audit our Emblem V1 before we moved to V2. It was a 20-day audit. They had their best Solana engineer on, who spent 20 days on it. They put it as a highly specific word, like a highly complex program. They actually said it was probably one of the most complex Solana programs that they've ever audited before. They do audits for the Solana Foundation. I think they're one of a few teams who do when new upgrades are introduced to the layer 1 Solana chain. And now we're kind of just waiting for the public report. So basically how it works is it took a few days longer than what we were initially expecting, which is fine. Then they had to submit basically like the rough draft of all the final edits. The cool part is during the process, they were giving us any kind of critical vulnerability that was found. There was 4 criticals that were found, not like that crazy, had to do with kind of server, some verification. We were able to fix while they were doing the audit, so that by the time that it came back, there was a handful of things that needed to be fixed and submitted. They said it takes 1 to 2 weeks for the public report to be live. And once it's live, we'll post it on the site. We'll put it through through Twitter, and so that everybody could look at. It's important that we got it done. Everyone wants to feel secure, regardless of what your opinions are about audits, as well as some of the exchanges have been asking for the audits for people who have exchange listings, and obviously anybody who wants to build with the MigrateFun SDK here next month. We'll have a launch partner for that. Wants to see the audit. So we're just waiting on that now. And we just posted our documentation this morning, which you could find on migrate.fun, top right-hand corner in the drop-down menu. We also posted that as well. Those are just the user and admin guide. We do have, that's like, what's there is maybe 30% of what actual documentation we have, but that's all relative to code and stuff. So if there's any builders out there who want to use MigrateFun, we have much more comprehensive technical documentation that's live. But again, aware that we're on Solana, and the majority of builders on Solana are retail users who do not care about what the technical code is. And so we do want to be cognizant of that to not confuse people with too much of the mumbo jumbo, which maybe is a little bit more relevant on Bitcoin and ETH.
Yeah, 100%. And real quick, I just put the QR code up right there. So you guys can scan that and they'll take you directly to migrate.fun. You guys can get into everything you guys need. So new feature from StreamYard, which is awesome.
Yep. So it sounds like you guys are going to be taking the cohort approach, at least for the second one as well, right? So basically, if someone's interested, reach out to you guys, and then they'll get added to that second group, or how's it going to work?
Yeah, I think the groups are very valuable. We've kind of gone back and forth internally about it, but we do want to launch the site to be public at some point. So hopefully next month we could have it live. So anybody who's just kind of looking through or doesn't want the white glove service, they could go up and set up their migration for whatever. Obviously, once the site is publicly available, that introduces attack vectors and malicious actors who will use it in a variety of ways to trick people. So we are cognizant of that. But the migration experience is similar to purchasing a house. People want to ask literally hundreds of questions throughout, a month long of anything that comes to mind. And we think there's a lot of value there. And obviously now we've migrated 15 projects. So we have a lot of experience. We've talked with probably close to 150 now at this point. So we know what people are looking for, but the superior customer service is something that we value a lot at Emblem. And I think it actually translates really well when you do not have venture capital backers and you're pretty much a community homegrown project through grassroots movements. You need to be able to represent the holders and your customers, not just through technical build, but also through personal relations. And so I think we'll probably do the second group in October. We have maybe 5 to 10 projects who are interested. Some of them want to migrate to BlancFun. Some people have been asking us about Pump Swap. Some people have been asking us about Meteora. Some people have been asking us about USD1 bonk migrations as well.
Oh, wow.
It seems like the requests kind of gravitate depending on what the flavor of the week is within the Launchpad wars, which is okay. So we want to try to accommodate everything. Obviously, some of the big players have to kind of participate in that as well. But yeah, we'll kind of see. And hopefully we'll probably do it in October. Maybe the groups will be monthly, maybe they'll be quarterly, depending on where the demand is. But I think the one thing that we've noticed with the migration groups is the attention that it gets. There are people who are now actively creating trading funds to buy migration projects. So there's like an active kind of ecosystem growing, as well as the projects who are participating also are collaborating with each other. I've seen them go on each other's show, partner for different types of products. And so we want to continue growing that community. Obviously, we are a tool more than like a token project. We have Hustle, that is the migration platform. And so we're infrastructure builders and we want to connect with teams. And I think the migration groups are something that's here to stay, because I don't think the white glove service is going to go away at any point, because a migration is going to be one of the most important decisions that a project operator undergoes in their career, as you're literally moving your community and somewhat trimming the fat of the excess holders who maybe don't believe in the project long term, or the token chart is just completely fucked because of whatever XYZ reasons.
Yeah, man, 100%, and that's really awesome to kind of see people. I feel like people do that all the time to you guys. You guys build something and they build something around it. It happens with Hustle. It happened with those guys from the academy and stuff like that, which is really awesome. Speaking of the academy guys, they did launch a token where they're going to be streaming on Pump using Agent Hustle. So that's awesome, and I got a little bit of that. But I kind of wanted to talk about the Zira migration entity. So this came in here, and I actually had to hit the three dots and actually put it on because they took it off. But could you talk about exactly what this is? Like, so what I did is I had the money token, which is the monopoly money, and then I did the migration, and I got this. Could you kind of explain that process there?
Yeah, so it's good that it gets hidden. I think it's because it's valueless is why Phantom has been hiding it. We've had a few people ask the same thing. So I wasn't sure if it was because it was valueless or because of the site verification itself, but I'll have to remember that for the people that ask. Yeah, MFTs are one of the few new features that we introduced to MigrateFun V2. Essentially, it's a receipt or a redemption for the future token. So what we had realized is with this new method, if we were to right now give you the Zira token, the actual Zira token immediately before the LP is deployed, then this introduces an attack vector where somebody who has the token can go set up a rogue LP pool and effectively set the market cap of the token. Because how project or how AMMs work is that if there's a new token, whoever is first to initialize the LP sets the price per token. So for example, here, if we handed out the Zira tokens, literally any Zira token could go set the market cap of Zira to at 1 million, 1 billion, 100 billion, whatever they wanted. And we wanted to ensure that that doesn't happen. So in that case, while the migration happens, there's kind of two options where you have to give them some sort of placeholder. And you can either do this on the server side or you could do this on chain. And as we always build, we try to do things as mostly on chain as possible, where the business reasoning is there, also the cost effectiveness and the efficiency of the use case itself. So we decided to go on chain here with the MFT, MigrateFun token. That's what we're calling it. Some people like to say the motherfucking token. You could say kind of whatever you want. And so during this time, whenever you go to do the migration here, right, you turn in, you basically take your money and you lock it in a migration vault. We give you the MFT. And then once the migration ends in 6 days and 11 minutes, then they will come back and turn in their MFT for the Zira token. And you can see right there at the bottom, it says burn at MFT later to claim Zira. And so during the claim process, that's going to happen for about 8 teams. Next Thursday, there's going to be 2 different claim windows. There will be a claim window for all the people who migrated on time, and then there will be a late migrators claim window. And so for those who did the migration on time, they're basically going to turn in their MFT to then they're going to turn their MFT. The MFT will be burned, and they'll get the Zira token, the actual Zira token. For the late migrators, they're going to take their money tokens and then they'll turn it in and get Zira. And so once the migration ends, there's a snapshot that's taken of all of the non-migrators. So this prevents people from going and buying the money token and trying to claim Zira in the late migration window. And that is all actually also done completely on chain using Merkle proofs as well. And so you'll see both of those people come and claim. During the claim time, there will be a 90-day claim window for both the people who migrated on time and the people who missed the migration. The one thing we've learned is that when you do that final sell at the end, it shows up in everyone's Phantom wallet as the token going negative 99% or whatever it is. So you'll get all the late migrators coming to claim because they're going to start complaining why the token's at 0. And then they'll see, oh, there's a migration. And so then they'll take their discount or whatever the team is set for the snapshot and claim tool. After 90 days, all the unclaimed tokens from the people who migrated on time and the late migrators will be returned to the team who set up the migration themselves. And there will actually be a second swap at the end for the late migrators who come in and turn their money token in and get the 0 token. So then you'll get another second rush of new tokens that the team will then sell to extract the final liquidity out of the pool, and the teams will then move on. So MFTs, valueless. It would be interesting, and maybe I'm going to open up a can of worms here, but when migrations become a lot more accepted, I could see a place where somebody uses the MFTs in some sort of DeFi protocol, some sort of liquidity, some sort of staking, right? Because essentially it does have value because it's a receipt to the underlying token itself of the new one. So I could see people building derivatives over that. Obviously, migrations need to be a lot more popular for people to find value in that. But that's the cool part of being on chain is you introduce tokens and people can build on top of it. And that's exactly what we want to do. And we'll be doing this with the Migrate SDK. I say that very lightheartedly. It's just a developer kit. Next month, we'll be migrating with Moby AI. They were supposed to be in this group. They were going to be the largest migration of this group. They had some requests, some specific requests last second of what did they want to do. So we'll be rolling out our SDK with them where users will migrate their Moby directly on the Moby site themselves. They won't have to go to the MigrateFun site. And so it'll be a good experiment there. You'll migrate and you'll claim your tokens there. And we hope that this introduces an opportunity for all teams who want a migration tool, all protocols, right? Whether you're Believe app or whatever, XYZ, you just use our SDK and the underlying tech, and you can build the migration platform directly into your site. Obviously, this helps with competition who may be trying to come for MigrateFun, which is fine. I think there should be multiple migration tools that exist so that there's healthy competition. But for those who don't want to build the infrastructure and go through 3 months of training and 100 or 3 months of building, thousands of dev hours, and talk with hundreds of teams, you can just build on top of MigrateFun and talk with us, and you could just negotiate with us directly on fees and such.
It's really big. I mean, Moby's obviously like heavily utilized utility in the Solana ecosystem, and so I would say that's probably your largest brand win there. And also, it can open the door for this white labeling type of approach, right? So, I mean, at the end of the day, you said, you know, you guys want to focus on kind of catering towards the clients and stuff like this. This is a perfect example of that, right?
Yeah, I mean, in theory, right, when you're creating something that's brand new, not only are you creating the tech that's brand new, but you're also creating the business model, right? And so the business model right now is that we take 3.75% of the total liquidity migrated that's paid out in SOL through the contract itself. So there's no upfront cost. But there is a B2B opportunity here where, let's say Bonk Fund, for example, right? We'll use them because they're a solid partner. They have 11 projects that are migrating. If they use our SDK, they could build the migration portal directly into their site. And then if they wanted to, instead of charging the users, they could offer free migrations and just pay us directly, right? You know, on basically a wholesale price per migration. We have numbers that we're thinking about. And this is just an opportunity. If a team does find this to be something that they're interested in, right? You know, Meteoric could do this, PumpSwap could do this. When we go to base, any of the base teams could do this as well. And personally, I'd rather do it that way, right? Because if you have different launchpads and AMMs who are using the MigrateFun SDK, they're going to have to offer some sort of incentive. We talked about this on the last show, but native migration tools, right? Like Believe app and Heaven, who are two teams who said that they're going to build a migration tool. Both of them are essentially subsidizing their users, whether it's like free migrations or covering the cost of tokens that were not migrated, or fronting liquidity so that the LP can be continuous on the other side. This is obviously subsidization that's going to happen, and we've been pretty clear about this, that you can either do the subsidized method or you face a true reality of the situation about not having 100% of people participating, and that the majority of these teams do not have 6 figures to front the capital to deploy an LP on the other side immediately. So we decided to go, through our experience and realize that the latter is just facing the real world situation. And I think we've right now got a pretty good strategy moving forward. And so whenever these other teams kind of accept the reality that is, unless they're just going to subsidize their way through it, which is entirely possible, they could just work with us directly. And so one other interesting aspect of this is that from a business strategy standpoint, we put ourselves in a very unique situation. I've been trying to think of if there's any other situations like this in crypto, but we're kind of positioned between the three giants on Solana, between Pump, who owns PumpSwap and PumpFun, Radium, who has Launch Lab, which BonkFun is built on top of, as well as a few other launch pads, and then Jupiter, that owns Meteora and Moonshot and a few of these other ones, right? And effectively between these three, we could bring business to them like we're doing with BonkFun, right? And then we could also take business away, right? If teams want to migrate from BonkFun to Meteora, right, then you're essentially kind of playing this two-way street. And so we want to be a neutral third party in all of this to try to build tooling like the MigrateFun SDK so that the teams can just find wherever their competitive advantage is and not have to undergo building the entire platform. Obviously, it's a little bit tougher in practice to do this because some teams feel threatened by it, unfortunately. Or also we're still in conversations with some other teams where you can't tell if they're just kind of stringing you along, trying to extract as much information as possible so that they can build a competitor, or if they're just actually busy and lack, immediate responsiveness. It's really tough to tell in the situation for a few of the teams, but either way, we're going to move wherever the business dictates, and the business is dictated by the teams who want to migrate. So we're moving forward with where teams want to go, and wherever the teams want to go, we have contact with the platform provider and to see if they actually want to play along and work together, or if they want to, build a competitor. Tough to really know. So, but we're going to just move wherever the teams want to, because that's what's most important, is allowing builders choice to move to different environments that best benefits themselves and the community that supports them.
Yeah, 100%. And what this is going to do as well is it's going to put an even playing field out for everybody, right? Like if somebody wants to undercut someone, that's fine. Somebody wants to come in and undercut. But what that's going to do is it's going to the end user, the people who we forget about sometimes. We forget about the guy who just wants to come in and we call them degens, but at the end of the day, they're just trying to do what's best for their family and trying to not have to work a 9 to 5 the rest of their life, but actually invest in some of these communities and community coins and actually be the winner in this, right? You guys are actually giving for the first time thinking about that endpoint user like myself, who is trying to find tokens that are going to 100x without overpaying for them, and if they're undercutting each other, it's a win for me.
Yeah, absolutely. So it'll be interesting to see how this plays out over the next few months. We do have some big strategies. So next month we have the Mobi AI partnership or integration with the SDK. And then we have a few different options in terms of different migration outputs to integrate, right? Whether that's kind of like a Pump thing or a Meteora thing or a different launch pad that's built on top of Radium or the USD1 migrations to BonkFun. And we'll kind of see after that. But we have gotten a handful of teams who have reached out from a variety of ways, and we'll make that decision once the first migration group is over and we have revenue that comes in, and we kind of sit back for a few days and think where the next best decision is.
So I see a demand for doing cross-chain migrations as well, but obviously from a technical standpoint, that would be a little bit difficult. But where I see it, where it could be actually more seamless, would be within Agent Hustle's infrastructure, right? Like a Hustle account or something like that. Is that how you see that being possible, or do you think the way you guys do it now is the approach you would take?
So for cross-chain migrations, to be honest, I'd say the demand right now is quite low. You know, I've had maybe 5 to 10 teams ask about migrations from other chains, and I think the majority of it would be moving from Base to Solana and just building migration paths to Solana seems to be the most popular. It's actually not too difficult to build. EVM is a lot easier to build on than Solana is, and we know how to do it. And we've talked with a handful of AMMs and launchpads on Base already to kind of see if they've had any migration inquiries, and it's still quite limited, to be honest. But we'll see. You know, it's really tough to know, especially now that the market is a little bit down. It seems like the excitement around migrations or interest is, I guess, been alleviated a little bit, right? Because the token prices aren't pumping. But once the market turns around or there's something exciting, then all of a sudden we get another flood of DMs all over again. So cross-chain is what we believe in. The next cycle that we're moving into is intelligence-based and interoperability-based. They both go hand in hand, and that's why we're excited that and fortunate that we have 3 awesome products that are built around interoperability and intelligence, because we're pretty confident that that's where the focus of the industry is going to be over the next few years.
Yeah. Also, like, I feel like you guys are kind of starting the meta of like, you know, migrations being more seamless and using like a service provider. So, you know, after this picks up and you guys are in your 3rd or 4th cohort, maybe that will be whenever the cross-chain stuff starts to get more attention, because they see that it's not as hard as it seems, you know what I mean? Because people have migrated from Solana or from Base to Solana. Like I think Virtuals did that, but that was a whole kind of internal thing that I think that they, you know, lifted themselves, but it was a lot, right? But if it's something to where you can just work with this third-party servicer and that becomes easy, it might be more frequently, you know, looked into.
Well, it's interesting in our position because we have 3 game-changing tools, and they're all effectively leaders or near leaders in their sectors, being a vaulting protocol and Emblem, NFT Bridge, with Agent Hustle being one of the top AI terminals on Solana, and then MigrateFun obviously being the top migration platform because it's really the only one that exists. So whenever we talk with these different blockchains, we have different introduction points to discuss, which also brings, you know, unique opportunities. So for example, and this is nothing that anyone else can do, I'm quite confident because they don't own or haven't built Emblem. But let's say, so right now we're working on our smart vault technology, which is something we've been wanting to build for a while. But now that we've hired another developer, we could free up some of Shannon's time as well as some other developers to kind of really focus back on the Emblem train. And so with a smart vault, we can build a fungible token bridge on top of many other things. And so think of it this situation where, you know, we're deploying Agent Hustle on Base. Another opportunity is BSC, and both of the Converse, Binance, and our chain, and both leads that we've talked to from that chain have expressed that, you know, if you bridge your token to these chains, and there's an opportunity to get listed on Coinbase or get listed on Binance Alpha. So Agent Hustle will be expanding to both of these. Obviously, we're going to be building our own Hustle bridge for another partner, blockchain partner. But you can then package this to say, oh, if you use our migration tool on Solana, we can also bridge a portion of your token to Base and to Binance, and you could potentially get listed on both of those alongside the migration itself, right? And so you could effectively create this three-way piece that nobody else can compete with. And that makes it even more attractive. You know, it's really hard to predict if that will be successful or if that is what people want to do, but it's the edge that we have in being natively interoperable with a lot of these technologies, and also just being really good at explaining what we're doing and having trust with all of these different teams. And so it just makes me really excited about the future, because we have a pretty solid 3-headed monster with our app ecosystem.
Yeah, and I'm sure there's going to be a wait, there's more situation with you guys as well. You guys don't seem to be able to kind of sit straight. But I want to talk about this tweet you made this morning. So if you guys are not following Jake Gallen, I highly recommend you do. But he said, you kind of mentioned a little bit, that's kind of why I feel like it's important to kind of go over market washing out and purging the end of what was a wild multi-year attention cycle, memes, socialify, celebrity coins, and prepping for the emergence of the intelligence cycle, agents, DeFi, and DAI. Attention focused products are here to stay and will be with us into the future. And we are now halfway through the consolidation of the sector. Could you get into this a little bit more? Because I found this really interesting. Do you think we're about to enter potentially a 2-year cycle of bullishness for these sectors?
The premise of it is that I don't think under the Trump administration we'll see elongated bear markets. I think there's just way too much bullish activity. The stripping of regulations between AI and crypto. There's just going to be a lot more building and new sectors popping up, which means new experiments, more funding. And so I just don't think I could be completely wrong here, but a lot of people have been calling top. I don't think this is the top. I think the tops are now are going to be much more likely or resemble much more to like the stock market, where you see a 8-month kind of consolidation period and you see some like smaller sectors start to catch attention, and then you kind of resume the mega trend. And we're in the attention cycle. Those last few years, the cycle before that was utility with NFTs, right? So during the NFT cycle, it was using my NFT for token gating, using my NFT for tickets, like using your NFT for RWAs. Like we went through this whole utility cycle. Also on the DeFi side, right? Taking my NFTs and staking them and doing yield farming and all these different things that happened over a 2-year period between 2020 and 2022. And then these last 2 years between 2023 and 2025 was the attention cycle. It was SocialFi, meme coins, live streaming was really popular, and content creator coins, celebrity coins, right? All these kind of different the Laudio experience, like all these kind of attention based things. But that's coming to an end. And it's pretty clear that is right. The memes don't get just as much traction. And so you're going to see consolidation in the kind of attention markets, which is, I think, already kind of halfway through at this point in time. And really, the next 3 years, going from 2026 to 2028, probably, will be focused around intelligence, right? AI, agents of all different types, DeFi AI, things like Agent Hustle and trading terminals, DAI. These are things like what's it called? BitTensor, right? With like decentralized inference. There's obviously, you have like betting and all kinds of other things that are popping up. We saw OpenSea just released their MCP server to select amount of people. So I think OpenSea is going to be kind of first to the market for a native AI companion of all of the like major protocols. And this was something that we were planning for as we were building Agent Hustle. We knew that this was going to be the case. And so this is what I mean. That's going to be the intelligence cycle. While the kind of attention projects all consolidate, a lot of the memes will go to zero. The rest will kind of focus in on kind of the top gainers. Things like SocialFi, you'll have a few winners, and it'll be kind of similar to like how it is now when you look back on the utility cycle and you have a handful of projects that are now kind of the leaders, right? Things like Yuga Labs and stuff like that. But within this next cycle, I think you also see an interoperability cycle, as we're starting to see it already taking place with Layer 0, kind of bodying Wormhole, although both of them are doing really well with stable coins, right? And pushing stable coins all over the place. Emblem Vault, obviously with NFT interoperabilities, we continue to expand. Migrations are also intra-operability right now between Solana, but then it will be interoperable when you move across chains. And this is why I kind of say that right now, I think we're just going to be in a consolidation period for, a few months or so, and then the market will resume up, whether that's in December or January or February or whatever the day is. And it's just important to really prepare yourself, because I just think these macro crypto cycles last about 2 years. And for me, memes was 2023 to 2025. And you just see lagging results now. And there's a lot more money going into AI focused products and interoperability focused products, which is pretty much exactly what we've been talking about for the last few years, and just makes me excited. And I think people should be aware. Final point is that I put at the end of that post that when the boomers come in, or you call it TradFi institutions, whoever you want, we'll see ICOs, enterprise chains that we're already seeing with Stripe and some of these other ones, and all these different stablecoin products. There's like the stablecoin chain just popped up recently. But when they come in, they're coming in with a lot more wealth than what exists in the current crypto markets. And they're going to basically pretend that they created all these things, right? So the boomers will come in, create ICOs. We'll get the stable, or the, what is it? The Stability Act, or whatever the market structure bill is, Clarity Act will come. And then all of these boomers and traditional stock traders will eventually navigate to ICOs, or the leaders will create ICOs. They'll sell it to their friends. The new people, the majority of people will have no idea ICOs exist. And so they're just going to basically productize it and pretend that crypto hasn't already gone through this experiment over the last 10 years, multiple times already. And so with that, that means that there's going to be a return to profitability, return to revenue. People in the industry right now are calling it the revenue meta. But revenue is not a meta. That's just how you value businesses. And those who have been trading stocks their entire life, they're going to basically take what they've been doing the last, few decades in terms of fundamental valuations, and they're going to apply it to crypto and the new projects. And so I think it's just important as a builder to recognize this, that as the market's becoming more mature, the way that we value things may not be the leading indicator heading into this next cycle, as a lot more money. It costs a lot more to operate interoperability protocols and intelligence protocols. And I think it positions us as a team really well. As long as we could survive, then we'll thrive.
Yeah, I actually agree with almost every single thing you said, and I've been saying that in some sort of way or another, just in different ways, right? That we are going into this area to where these people play with serious money that are going to come over here, and they're going to take it serious. So I think it's such a mature move for our space. I know some of the people aren't going to like it, but it is how it's going to happen, because they're going to dictate what's valuable and what's not, right? But you're already starting to see some of the established teams and environments finally start to roll out what their meta or their narrative was based on previously. And I think it's because now they feel comfortable. Okay, now we can actually act on what we've been talking about. An example of that is IP, story protocol, right? Recently, they teamed up with Azuki to roll out their IP. They just announced, I think yesterday, about Moonbirds. Moonbirds has been saved again, right? Okay, so their IP is rolled out, and so now they're doing story protocols, doing what they said that they've been planning on doing. Another thing, Avalanche headlines today, they're tokenizing assets. They've been talking about putting deeds and whatever and all these important documents on their chain. Now they're rolling out. So do you think that's happening because of what you said we're leaning towards, is like, okay, now they got to show the value to these people with a bunch of money?
Yeah, precisely. RWAs will also be another thing that's really important heading into this next cycle. And trying to think of how to really explain this, but as the market becomes more mature, then the participants who are entering the market are going to use where they think their competitive edge is. And their competitive edge is going to be how to value companies. Obviously, memetics and some of these other ancillary properties that are used to value tokens will trickle into their way of valuing these different types of tokens. But with market maturity, comes ever-changing dynamics to these kind of token ecosystems. And also, once different types of capital formation is institutionalized and is regulated, you're just going to see a gigantic flood come in. And it's important to really stay ahead. There was like a few other things that I had, but I totally forgot what I was going to say.
Yeah, man. And I'm actually seeing this firsthand because I listen to a stock show every morning just to kind of learn the macro aspects of things. And they just partnered with Hive Blockchain, which is, you know, a Bitcoin miner. And so they're talking, they have a crypto sector now. And the one guy said to the other guy, he was like, hey, how much did Solana make last year? And it was like, dude, it was just so abrupt that they don't have no idea how this stuff works. There's a Solana Foundation that, you know, they make money when the coin goes up, right? And it was just like, but there's products that live on the chain. So you guys both are 100% right. Like these guys are entering crypto for the very first time and they don't even know where to start, right? They're asking questions like how much did Solana make last year? And it was just yeah, I just wanted to add to that point. But yeah, 1,000,000% right.
Yeah, I think Ethereum. So one of the things I was going to say actually is I think Ethereum is a good example of how investors outside of crypto are looking at crypto comparative to what the crypto natives think. The most crypto natives fucking hate Ethereum. They think it's slow, right? High gas fees. It's antiquated, blah, blah, blah. But how Wall Street institutional investors are looking at it is 100% uptime, very secure, has the most liquidity of all of the tokens, and they don't really care about the culture. Like if you're transacting on Ethereum layer 1, you're going to have, you know, a 45-second transaction, and sometimes you could pay $20-$30. But if I'm an institution or even a large investor, I want to be sure that it's secure, and I will pay. If I'm moving 7 figures on ETH mainnet, right? I don't care if the fee is $1 or $50 or $100, right? I just want to know that it's going to go through and that's not going to fuck up. And actually, as we've been working on the Agent Hustle EVM expansion, and I've been looking a little bit more into ETH mainnet over the last few days, looking at all the popular protocols to see what to integrate. And one thing I had noticed is that Ethereum mainnet doesn't have a popular launchpad as every other L2 and Solana has. And I think the reason why is that when you look at all of the top performing protocols on ETH mainnet, it's all heavily DeFi protocols, right? The Aves, the EtherFis, right? The eigenlayers, the like very important DeFi. And even Vitalik came out recently and said that Ethereum's killer use case is DeFi. He's a low valued or low valued DeFi, but ultimately what he's finally caving in on is that DeFi is the edge that Ethereum has after he's been basically very combative towards that idea for the last 5 or so years. And so institutions are going to be transacting on Ethereum layer 1, and then a lot of the other specialized use cases will expand to the L2s that we're kind of seeing. And it's just an example of how people who are not crypto natives are looking at it, and they're like, yeah, you know, $5,000 for an ETH or 4,000 is fine. I know that it's secure, and it's the narrative. And so, you know, it's important right now to reset your thinking because the last cycle is over, and we're about to enter a very new cycle. Whether it's intelligence that leads the charge, whether it's interoperability that leads the charge, whether it's RWAs that leads to the charge, it's going to be one of these, and or it could be stable coins, right, as well. So between these 4, I think it's important to look at it and think, what is the commonality between all of these? And it's that these are revenue generating businesses. They're key pieces of infrastructure. They also intersect with the application layer, which is kind of where SocialFi and Solana really did a good job of really pushing crypto to the application era, past the infrastructure era. And now we're going to get a gigantic aggregate of it. And Emblem is we're positioning ourselves in this way. This is why we set up Agent Hustle and started building the Agent Hustle SDK, because we're aware that, hey, these major protocols are going to be building AI companions like OpenSea, for example. But once that's finally accepted, everybody's going to need an AI companion of some sort. And for 99% of the teams, that are startups, they're not going to want to spin up their own AI infrastructure. It's very time intensive. It's very expensive, and also takes some experience to really understand it. And they're just going to want something that could be simple and plugged in, right? So that's where Agent Hustle is setting up migrations, interoperability, capturing on the growing launchpad wars that are evolving to something a little bit different. And then Emblem Vault as key interoperability with NFTs and eventually be fungible tokens as well.
I feel like it's gonna be like, kind of honestly, and this might be kind of sad a little bit, but it's gonna be to where, getting into those like 100 to 1000x situations are going to obviously be fewer and far between, but there are going to be like situations, for example, like if you were in Twitch early on, or like one of those smaller companies got acquired later on. Agent Hustle sounds like something that could be in that situation, right? That's where you can make that really big X, as opposed to kind of like how it still is a little bit where you're gambling on these meme launch pads, right? And you're trying to hit that like 1000x that way. That I think is going to start to fade off, but you're going to have more consistent, like, 5, 10, 15 type of X plays in solid areas, which I think is a sign of maturity as well. But it also gives a little bit of that advantage back to the big money, to where they know about the IDO. They can park like $5 million into it and make a 5x is great for them. You know what I mean? So it's really, you're gonna have to research even harder, which is good. I think putting more effort into the space is going to be good, but it's going to be a more solid space with more foundation.
It's just important to know where your edge is. Right now, the crypto native's edge is that you understand the complexity of the on-chain economy, all the different L2s that are expansive, and what applications work where, what works on Bitcoin, what works on ETH, what works on Solana. Like, these people who are entering have no idea how any of that works. But also important to think about the net new retail user who's coming in will be much more familiar with using an LLM than they will be downloading a wallet extension. And with all of the teams that we've talked with and blockchain foundations and such, it seems to be a common agreement that most people are preparing for this outcome of the wallet being replaced by an AI. And this is why we're building Agent Hustle. It's just like all in one shop to trade on all these different chains. You don't need to download any wallet. You're just completely there from the start. And it's going to take these new institutional investors or traditional investors years to figure out all of this stuff, but probably they're not going to learn all of it. They're just going to take what they know and they're going to look for something similar to their experience and where their edge is, and they're just going to keep hitting the button and keep winning until it doesn't work anymore. And so it's important to understand from both sides. The net new retail user is going to be using AI, and then the net new traditional investor is probably going to be focusing on fundamentals a lot more. And that's how exactly how we're positioning the company.
Yeah, 100%. And I'm just curious. Plasma launched yesterday, right? Plasma is Tether's chain. Really cool feature they have. You'll have a debit card, potentially, and anything you have in that wallet, you're going to be able to spend, in Target, for instance, right? Could Agent Hustle like a benefit from a situation like that with a debit card and stuff like that, to where I'm just telling Agent Hustle to buy me stuff because my wallet is potentially in Agent Hustle?
Yeah, I mean, that's the goal right now. So right now we're working on EVM and another top 25 blockchain integration. That's a partner. After that, we'll be expanding to like Base and a handful of these other ones. And then our developers are currently working on the massive overhaul to the conditional trading engine. And then also some intelligent tooling features that'll allow Agent Hustle to choose the tools for you so you don't have to. So we're trying to make this all completely dummy proof and end to end. And the goal is that as Agent Hustle becomes much more accepted as an intelligent token discovery platform, in theory, if we had BSC integrated, he probably would have found the Aster thing long before a lot of these other people have. And the way we're building it is you literally just click on a screen, whether it's Binance or whether it's Solana or Base or whatever, ETH mainnet, and you're there. But when you talk in the LLM interface itself, there's no clicking buttons. It's universal to all the different chains. And the goal is to have as many people subscribing to the elite tier of the Hustle subscriptions. And we're going to try to package our other applications into it as well. and try to really roll out the model. I do have to give praise to Banker, who I think is doing an incredible job with their subscriptions, also as being the leading agent on the market as well. And also going a very organic route, same way we did, right? They didn't get any institutional investment until Coinbase Ventures recently, but they bought everything on the market. They had a really grassroots movement. And so they're doing a really good job at leading the industry as trying to be like a generalized social AI tool. But I think we have a major edge in the terminal experience over their kind of social Twitter experience. And that's what we're going to continue to lean into. And then eventually, launch mobile applications and such once we get there, or have a lot more resources to put more development on it. But the one-stop shop, we want Hustle, the Hustle app, all these different things to be as simple as just depositing some tokens, and then he does basically everything else for you. Obviously, he's not going to make all the money for you. There are some inputs and decisions that you have to make, but trying to make it as simple as possible. And we have a few people using Hustle who don't even know how to use anything else in crypto. So it's a pretty good case study.
Yeah, 100%. So Hustle EVM potentially November. What do you think?
Next month for sure.
October?
Yeah.
Yes. Yes. Yeah. I'm gonna.
We already have
all the time.
ETH mainnet and our partner should launch next month, and then after that, I think it's a decision between or a combination between like Base, Binance, Hyperliquid, Abstract. There's a few other ones out there as well. We want to go after the ecosystems that have large market caps and thriving token economies. We're leading in with Agent Hustle as being intelligent token discovery first, and then automated tooling second. And so leaning into token discovery, you want to go where there's organic traction. There's other token ecosystems like Tron and XRP, and then obviously you'll have Monad and all these Bear Chain and all these other new chains is Sui, right? All these different things that pop up. So we're going to try to get as comprehensive as possible to expand to all these different chains. But yeah, I think like 2 chains a month is probably pretty good.
I think subscriptions will jump up, substantially when you guys have that one-stop shop feel, because it's all about convenience. Humans are about convenience. Honestly, that's been the biggest hurdle for mainstream adoption for our space, is that we have not been building for convenience at all, until this year, I feel like. So Hustle gets to a one-stop shop. You guys offer tokens on Binance, which means like Hustle has all these different wallets within it. You feel you're fine. You just go there. But the research is the same. Like you approach it the same way. Hey, find me the hottest token on BNB right now. Find me the hottest token on Sui. And I just know that like I would pay for, obviously if it's not crazy, I'm not going to pay $1,000 a month or anything, but I would pay, $100, $200 a month if I'm just can go to that one stop place and have access across the board. Because that's actually the biggest reason why people miss out on stuff like Plasma or stuff like BNB. The Western people don't mess with BNB that much. They mess with Solana a ton or Base, but they could be benefiting by something like Hustle if it has BNB integrated in it.
Yeah, so subscriptions is a good point. The way that we're viewing it is very similar to Amazon. When you pay for Amazon Prime, you get all of these other ancillary services, right? You get some of the audiobooks from Audible credits. You get discounts for the bookstore. You get Amazon Prime, so free delivery. You get Amazon Prime Video. And you get access to the drop shipping services. So you get all of these different things. And we have 3 products right now where we're investigating on different ways to where we can accrue value to the subscriptions and then eventually to the tokens. We actually, in the next week will be 1 month since we've launched the subscription service. And so I'm looking at it now, 57 paying users, so 3% conversion rate with $3,000 in revenue. That's from 1 month. So our top tier is $100 in Hustle. And eventually we'll have a higher tier, which is like some sort of elite club kind of thing, kind of like what Banker does. But right now, it's accruing value to subscriptions, accruing value to the token, and ensuring that our users across all of our platforms are doing really well. So I know one thing that can easily accrue value is implementing our smart vaults into Agent Hustle subscriptions themselves, right? Like what Banker's done recently is to increase their subscription count. They've added yield on your USDC deposits because they partnered with Yearn. They built something with Yearn. They also just announced some sort of emergency fund where users can stake their Banker and earn Banker, I believe. But then those funds are used if there's any kind of like catastrophe within it. So with smart vaults, we essentially can do these yield optimization vaults where you plug Hustle into a vault, you deposit money and then you tell them to go make you money and rebalance stablecoins, LP positions, whatever. There's companies who are raising literally 8 figures on just this one idea. And with a smart vault, we can just, an Agent Hustle, we probably will be a lot more efficient than they can. As well as, staking vaults and different things like that. There's cool opportunities and ideas where you can do like some sort of Hustle staking vault that gets a percentage of all the airdrops of all the migrations that happen, right? You take like 1 or 2% of migrations, you give them to stakers, kind of thing. So there's a lot of cool cross collaborative tokenomics that could be done across all of these. Obviously, with all of these ideas, only a handful of them will land and a handful of them will be implemented because we are limited on resources that currently, if we had, $10 million, could probably build all this out pretty quickly, but that's not the case as of now. So lots of cool opportunities. Just to remember all of our users that we are a products company first. So we have to ensure the products work. Then you do tokenomics afterwards. I was very firm with this to the Coval community when I came in a few years ago. We're a product company. The product can exist without the token. The token cannot exist without the product. I know for speculators, that's a little annoying because you have to hold the token longer and you have to believe in something. But that's where the market is heading now. You need to have conviction and you're probably going to need to hold on a lot longer, which is how it was in 2021 in the utility cycle and even some of the ICO cycle where you held these tokens for months to years at that point in time. And that's how you get the 10x, the 100x. I think the short term 100x for attention coins and stuff, they'll still exist. Casino is never going to stop, but it will change and it will consolidate. And so, that's kind of like the long-term strategy. Subscriptions, users, migrations, intelligence. Hope everyone's ready because crypto is going to undergo a gigantic transformation over the next few years as Clarity Act's installed, as all of these other things happen. And just be sure to not fall behind, whether it's from the retail side of things, becoming familiar with AI terminals, or from the traditional investor type that's going to be looking for long-term investments and not as much short-term.
Yeah, man, 100%. Just like, our man Soul Maverick says here, so many options and opportunities. We in good hands with this team, 100%, man. And you guys don't know, they do have the token that's powering everything. It's called the Hustle token. Get it on Radium right now.
Rebounded pretty well, actually.
What is it?
Said it rebounded pretty well from
dude, no,
got a higher low end. Looks like an inverse Head and Shoulders if I'm looking at that correctly.
Oh yeah, there's the right. Yeah. Oh wow, Jake found something on the chart. Let's go. Yeah, 100%. Yeah, dude, this is gonna, in my opinion, we're gonna be up potentially breaking this line here first week of October. I mean, if this goes away, but this is consolidation. You're getting the weak hands out, strong hands in. I love seeing this. It's really awesome. So very, very bullish on this token. Very bullish on what you got. I mean, at the end of the day, this represents what you guys are building, right? So as long as you guys build amazing stuff like you have been, I can see this being way higher, potentially 100x from where it's at. But that's just my opinion. And you guys check out their migration. Migrate.fun is here. Just mess around with it. Go do a migration. See how easy and seamless it is. I have tutorials. We have tutorials on our channel. They got tutorials on their channel. Check them all out. Read through this. You said the documents are where? You said it's a menu and then docs. Okay.
Docs.
You guys can check out the docs here, everything here. But Jake, man, thank you so much for being here each and every week, man. I'd love to give you the stage one last time for anything that maybe you missed.
buy some migration tokens. There's a lot of people speculating on migration meta and how there's gonna be more projects. So look for the things that are undervalued. Shout out to all 14 teams who went through with this first group. Truly some pioneers. And if you believe in the vision that we are selling you, then buy some hustle, participate, buy a subscription, use hustle. We're going to continue to expand it. The cool part of having 3 apps is that you could kind of rotate between the narratives. Whenever MigrateFun cools off, then you could focus on hustle. Whenever hustle cools off, we can focus on the new emblem products, and you could kind of create this continuous narrative of people finding the token. One thing that I've noticed is when I talk with VCs about having multiple apps for one token, they don't completely understand. They say, why would you do this? It doesn't make sense. What if they become confused because there's one token that represents all the products? On the other side of this, I say, well, they found the token. Isn't that like 90% of the game is somebody finding it and then doing an evaluation? It's like I actually modeled this off of one of my friends she's a big YouTuber, and she does these live streams with different people in the real estate and content creation world. And she has the other person live stream as well, but she does two different covers and 2 different titles of the YouTubes that represent 2 completely different things. But the communities then find them on one, but then it's only one video, right? And so we're kind of doing the same thing here, where 3 different apps that all have the same token. Some people will find it through Emblem, some people will find it through Hustle, some people will find it through MigrateFun. But then they come and find the whole package. And to me, and so far that we're seeing, it doesn't matter if they're confused. Like, the whole point of tokens is having people aware that the token exists. And so regardless what TV or entrant you're coming from for the token, so far it seems to be valuable, and all the VCs seem to be very confused.
Yeah, well, VCs want you to probably launch 2 more tokens because they want to be able to get into those 2 tokens early. That's their strategy. But appreciate you, Jake. Super busy guy. Thank you so much for your time every Friday, and have a good weekend, sir. We'll see you next week.
Yeah, see you guys soon.
See you, Jake. And you guys can, just there it is right there. You guys go to that. You guys take your phone and scan that, and that'll take you right to migrate.fun. It's a new thing we'll be doing for all of our partners and stuff like that. So easy for you guys to go check out the website through the QR code. So definitely check out that. Scan that. Go over there. But this has been an absolutely amazing show. 754 people watching on a Friday. Absolutely amazing, guys. And remember, we are in the early stages of something truly special here in crypto. Whether you're just somebody who's just a mild investor or somebody who's all in like us, it's time for you to start doing research. It's time for you to start understanding what we're building here. And it's a green day. I'm here. Ethereum's over 4K, so that's always a good thing, right?
Absolutely. Seth Shepard was definitely trying to let us know that. I think he posted twice. He's like, yeah, definitely made me look at it again. So yeah, it seems like things are bouncing back right whenever I say, you know what, I'm just gonna zoom out and look at the thing. It's like, oh, maybe the shorter time frames actually works for once this week. But guys, we really do appreciate you guys supporting us, through the ups and downs, and we've had a lot of both of that, right? With a lot of you guys, some of you guys have been with us since the start, and we're very, very thankful for that. And you got to pay attention, like Shizzy said, to segments like this. I mean, Agent Hustle, like, these guys have a ton of experience. I think they put the right people in the right places on their team. They're running like a well-oiled machine. Don't pay attention to the day-to-day market caps of Hustle. Pay attention to what they're building and what they're delivering on, because it seems like they are delivering something every single day. I mean, this is a huge lift that they just did, a cohort of 13 different teams, and people are waiting for that second cohort. So revenue is something I believe is going to be a main focus in this next, couple years in our space. And then after that, it's going to be the norm of value in terms of, these teams and stuff. But we appreciate you guys, supporting us. Without you guys, we couldn't do this, but also without our partners, we couldn't do it as well. If you could check them out, we would greatly appreciate it. Sats Terminal is the DEX aggregator swap for the entire Bitcoin ecosystem. If you're going to swap for Bitcoin runes, alkanes, and very, very soon, I'm excited about this, Spark tokens, the BTKN, BKTN, one way or the other. But those are, what is the next thing right now in terms of Bitcoin fungible tokens, right? You got 3 launch pads that are revving up to be able to launch, and people are expecting liquidity, and SaaS Terminal is going to be able to support that fungible token standard. So you got to be ready, because these 3 different launch pads are going to have 3 different contract addresses, but SaaS Terminal is where you can get them all in one spot, right? Super excited about this team. They also have a borrowing and lending product. Go test it. If you go to SaaSterminal.com, you click on that 3rd link, you can test it out. Just put some Bitcoin, small, loan against it, right? Loan against your Bitcoin in a small way. I'm not saying that in financial advice, but it's really, a place that you can test out a product that's going to be very, very high in demand, in my opinion. But head over to SaaSterminal.com, learn about the borrowing and lending product, as well as a place for you guys to trade and earn your Amber points. Amber points are going to be very valuable. I am speculating that, but I have a very high confidence in that.
Not financial advice, life advice. So do not sell your Bitcoin. Do not sell your Bitcoin. I mean, we learned that the last 15 years.
Not sell, you borrow against it, if anything, right? But yeah, Emblem Vault is the interoperability layer for the Bitcoin ecosystem. If you're going to borrow against your Bitcoin ordinals or Bitcoin NFTs, you got to do it at Emblem Vault. You can actually take your Taproot Wizards to Ethereum, take a loan out against it on the Gandhi application, and they're going to be opening up to other chains as well. Ethereum layer 2s and Bitcoin layer 2s like Merlin Chain, and then the Ethereum layer 2s like Arbitrum, Abstract, and of course Solana is on there as well. And speaking of Solana, they have the best AI product in the Solana ecosystem. We just talked about it for the last hour there, Agent Hustle. If you go to agenthustle.ai, you can utilize it. There is a free version where you can kind of utilize the basic features there. You can ask it to find you some solid tokens on Solana. Hustle will bring back some options for you and why he thinks that these are good options. Also, conditional trading is built into the Agent Hustle engine, so you can set some buy or sell orders with Hustle as well and go take care of whatever you need to take care of. There's going to be some major, huge updates with Hustle, though. New environments, you can kind of put 2 and 2 together with that. But if you want the advanced tool sets, which is going to allow you to do much, much more, there are subscription levels to it. And if you get the Hustle token, you can actually pay with that and get a discount. The Hustle token is a single token in the Emblem ecosystem. And so you definitely want to check that out as well. And then the MigrateFun product. The MigrateFun product launched officially with teams. You can see there if you go to MigrateFun, all the teams migration. If you're a part of the community, you want to migrate over so you can be a part of the new environment launchpad that they use. And if you're interested in being in the next cohort, go check it out. Check out what this process is looking like right now for these first 13 teams that are a part of this, right? And you can definitely join them. What they do is they make it very seamless for your community to migrate. And for you, they actually help get the token liquidity from one launch pad to the next that you want to migrate to. And of course, your community has to be on board with that, but that's something that you hash out with them. This is just the service that they provide for you guys. So head over to emblem.vision to learn about all these 3 products and the Hustle token itself. And then Artura.finance is the perps and leverage DEX of the Bitcoin ecosystem. Very soon, you're going to be able to trade synthetic Bitcoin fungible tokens like Dog Go to the Moon, Ordi, Sats. Sats went up 30% today, I think. And if some of these Spark tokens get some momentum and demand, they'll probably be on there too. They're also going to be adding synthetic derivatives like Coinbase and MicroStrategy. So really unique that these, perp DEX has those kind of products, right? So you want to pay attention to them and whenever they announce those new assets added. Also, there is a trading competition that ends on the 2nd of October. First place gets 5,000 USDC, and the next couple places will split 5,000 USDC between them, as well as 20,000 ARA tokens. And speaking of ARA tokens, they had their TGE yesterday. If you're interested in that, you can go to Aerodrome as they launched on Base, and you can go to their X account so you can get the exact contract address. But that is their token for their platform. And they're going to announce the utility for that token, which is going to be very, very big and related to the platform there. So head over to Artura.finance to learn more there. And then Tokyo Wallet is the multi-chain smart wallet that supports 3 different ecosystems right now and more to come in the future. They support Bitcoin. You can swap for Bitcoin runes. They support Cardano. You can swap for Cardano tokens, and they support Sui now. You can swap for Sui tokens as well. And as I mentioned before, they're going to be supporting other ecosystems and environments as well. They do have their token, which is a Cardano token, and you can actually stake it directly there in the application itself. If you have an iPhone, head over to the Apple App Store. If you have an Android, head over to the Google Chrome Store or Google Play Store, I should say. Download the application. Let us know what you think about it. There is a education and alpha section. You'll find our YouTube channel and other YouTubers as well there. Head over to Tokyo.io to learn more there. And then Merlin Chain is uniting Bitcoin's strength through the power of AI. They have an AI tool as well that's really awesome called the Wizard version 2.0, which you can actually swap from Merlin Chain to into Solana tokens or BNB tokens as well. It is free in their ecosystem there, but you do have to have Merlin Chain BTC to swap. Also, the Wizard will guide you through the Merlin Chain ecosystem to make swaps within Merlin Chain, as well as staking. And speaking of staking, they have a proof of stake system for their security of their chain. There's 3 ways for you guys to participate. First is staking Bitcoin to earn Bitcoin. This is a really hot product category. Institutions that invested $55 million into the Merlin Chain product here. But as a retail user, you can participate. You do have 4 days left because it does close on September 30th. But I am very sure that they're going to be opening a new vault. But stay tuned and make sure you're following their Merlin Chain account on X for that announcement for that. And then on average, you earn 16% APR, by the way, on that Bitcoin to earn more Bitcoin. And then there's 2 Merlin Chain tokens. There's the flexible, which is a day-to-day. You earn on average, well, not on average, you just earn straight 15% APR with this one. And then you can claim every single day. You can claim and roll that into your compound interest strategy if you want to do that, or you just keep it, right? Or sell it, whatever you want to do with it. There is a 7-day cooldown period if you want to withdraw from the flexible option here. And then there is the bonded option, which is a 6-month lockup period, but you earn a 45% APR. Same thing, though. You can actually claim those rewards every single day and compound interest that if you want. And then head over to merlinchain.io to learn more there. They were at Korea Blockchain, and they're going to be at Token 2049, of course, because it's in their backyard in Singapore. Swing by their booth if you're interested in that and say what's up. Their team is awesome. And then lastly is our guys from Ordinal Hive. Ordinal Hive is the fastest ordinal marketplace in the entire industry. If you buy an ordinal on Ordinal Hive, you get it right away. If you sell one, I think it takes 1 block, but they're trying to get that Bitcoin to you faster as well. They do have their Ordinal Hive B collection, which minted fully out about 3 weeks ago. 70% is staked on Stake It. And they have amazing trader tools. So take advantage of their platform. You can see what's chilling in the mempool, about to, go through a block and try to maybe steal one of those ordinals that are mispriced or something like that. But head over to ordinalhive.io to learn more. And thank you guys for hanging out with us. This month hasn't been the easiest, but you guys have been with us, through this entire time. We're so grateful for that. Thank you guys so much.
Yep. Great job, man, as always. And check out onchainrevolution.io. That's a QR code right there for it. And check out the website as well. We have a brand new article that just dropped this week, Hyperliquid versus Aster. Maybe we've got to throw in that third one as to Lighter seems to be on track there. But this is all about how you guys can take advantage of this war between these dexes, man. These dexes are making insane amount of money, and how you guys can potentially be a part of that. Definitely check out this article here and many articles there as well. There a bit and so much more. Check out all of our articles. If you know someone just entering a space, send them our website. Really feel like it can help them get started. And check out our VPN, NordVPN. I use it every single day, guys. Highly recommend it. Now they added 3 more months. You get 2-year plan with 3 months extra. All you got to do is pay $3.09 a month. Lock it in for 2 years. Set it, forget it. This will allow you to use stuff like Hyperliquid. This will allow you to use stuff like MEXC. I use MEXC almost each and every day. It is my chain of choice, because it's so cheap. I can deposit in there, make a swap, withdraw. I do treat it like a public bathroom, though. I do my business and I get out. But it is the cheapest way to do that. And you guys can use MEXC without no KYC all through our link here. with Nord and get it for $3 a month. Lock it in, set it, forget it. But head back to OnChain Revolution. We got some of the best merch, guys. I'm going to be adding more merch this weekend as well. Last weekend, I added some hoodies. I'm going to be purchasing one of these myself. Really bullish on the maroon here, or I don't know what color that is, the reddish color. But definitely check out here. We got hats, jackets, hoodies, and so much more. We got that Trench Kitty himself. But check out everything here at onchainrevolution.io. Remember, guys, we are live Monday through Friday, 11 a.m. Eastern, 10 a.m. Central, 8 a.m. Pacific, and 3 p.m. UTC. Check us out all week, guys. And until tomorrow,
Peace.
OnChain, 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 OnChain. OnChain revolution roll call. Market recap. You're not bullish enough. No. You're not bullish enough. No. Look at the price go. Bitcoin control. Why you still coping? Price action rolling. Don't fall for bear trap. Swapping indexes and putting it up in the sex. I can take profit right now. OnChain is where I be now. You can never look back. They don't want you to know. How did the market react? Fear and greed gotta adapt. Now we bridging the tokens and arching the network right now. You know how crazy we are. Nookies are savages now. They know how crazy we are. Chain abstraction, main attraction. OnChain revolution.